Wai Hono is the new Queen of New Zealand. At the age of 27, she set a world record by becoming the youngest reigning monarch. Wai is very popular and many see her as a true savior of the Maori people. How does the new queen live and what does she hide? What has she encoded in her face tattoo? And why was her coronation ceremony held at a funeral? Watch the full video to find out. Let's get started. New Zealand is the only country in the world to have two monarchs. They are the British King Charles III and the ruler of the indigenous Maori people. In September 2024, Wai Hono became the new queen. She is the youngest daughter of King Tuheitia Potatau, who died after heart surgery just days after celebrating his 18th birthday. An unusual funeral procession of 4 ornate boats moved down New Zealand's largest river, the Waikato. In one of them lay the body of the late king. He had ruled his people for 18 years and fought tirelessly for their rights. Being Catholic converts, the Maori did not cut off and embalm his head as was customary before the arrival of the Europeans. The king was buried on high Mount Tapiri, where the cemetery of local monarchs is located. The coronation of the new queen ended a week of mourning for the previous Maori king. Wai sat by her father's coffin wearing a wreath of leaves and a whalebone necklace as moving rituals, prayers, and songs were performed. Her face was anointed with fragrant oils and then a Bible, used for Maori coronations since 1858, was placed on her head. Wai became the second Maori queen in the history of the title. 2 of her older brothers also claimed the throne, but it was she who was chosen by the Council of Elders. The choice was no accident. Wai is not only the daughter of the last king, but also has great authority among the common people. She was born into the Kingitunga royal family in January 1997. At the time, the Maori monarch was also a woman, the newborn's grandmother. It was she who came up with a name for the girl. And it is not just a beautiful set of words. The fact is that Maori tribes in New Zealand do not always act together. In the girl's name, the queen encoded the unifying mission that her granddaughter was to carry out. And a little later you'll find out why Wai Hono has this strange tattoo on her face. You'll be surprised to learn exactly what it means. Wai was prepared for her role as a consolidator leader from an early age. She literally absorbed the cultural and spiritual practices of her people. Even her schooling was in Maori, not English. At the University of Waikato, she earned a master's degree in Maori culture. Her achievements were so impressive that in her second year she began teaching the art of kapa haka, a blend of Maori ritual dance and hand-to-hand combat. Thanks in large part to Wai Hono, the kapa haka rapidly gained popularity. Today, tens of thousands of ordinary New Zealanders and even members of parliament dance the kapa haka. And the New Zealand rugby team, the best in the world, performs the dance before every international match. At the age of 19, on the anniversary of the king's coronation, the princess had a ritual tattoo of Te Moko on her chin as a gift to her father. It encoded her name and royal status. This symbolic act cemented her commitment to serve her people. For several years, she accompanied her father to cultural and political events and on international trips. In particular, during a visit to London by a Maori chief, Wai Hono was introduced to Prince Charles, who later became King of Great Britain and New Zealand. As a princess, she headed charitable foundations to help Maori people. Of New Zealand's 5 million people, about 900,000 are indigenous. That's about 17% of the country's population, and they are significantly worse off than white New Zealanders. This is the result of Maori segregation and the peculiarities of the national mentality. According to the traditions of this people, a true Maori should be a warrior, so they are reluctant to do business. At the same time, almost half of New Zealand's prison population is Maori. As Wai says, her dream is to preserve the noble fighting spirit of the people and incorporate it into modern life. To this end, the Queen organizes many educational courses. She tries to instill in her people the desire to study, work, and create. But there are some moments in her personal life that the Queen tries to hide. You will soon find out what they are. In terms of formal law, Nawai's royal title can be described as ceremonial. Nevertheless, this position is extremely influential. She acts less as a decorative Maori chief and more as a leader who inspires the people. The social stability of the country depends on her words and actions. To ensure that Indigenous people have formal representation in the political system, the Queen supports the Maori Party. Several people from this party are regularly elected to Parliament. Some have become famous for wearing amulets instead of ties and dancing their favorite dance, kapa haka, during parliamentary sessions. For now, all this is seen as a local exoticism, but much may change in the near future. This is due to the dynamics of Maori population growth. It is growing much faster than the number of white citizens. By the middle of the 21st century, the Maori share of New Zealand's population could reach 30 or even 40%. In this case, Queen Nawai will gain much more influence. But the Queen's private life is shrouded in secrecy. She is careful to keep her relationships with men within the walls of her residence and out of the pages of the tabloids. Talking about her private life is taboo for Nawai. Incidentally, this word, as well as the term mana, familiar to all gamers, comes from the Maori language. Another cherished dream of the Queen is to popularize Polynesian culture around the world. She firmly believes that people should know New Zealand not only as the place where Avatar and Lord of the Rings were filmed. More importantly, it is home to a beautiful people in whose DNA geneticists have found a special warrior gene. But Nawai is convinced that Maori no longer need to fight to be happy, and she's willing to do whatever it takes to make it true. Meanwhile, the new Queen sees her mission as revitalizing Maori culture and language. Her main dream is to harmoniously unite Maori and whites into one nation with a common cultural code. Much has been achieved. The descendants of the British colonizers enjoy dancing kapa haka and are proud of their unique traditions. At the same time, more and more Maori are becoming successful businessmen, applying their warrior gene to business negotiations and successful deals. In this way, Wai Hono's vibrant community life benefits all New Zealanders. The new Queen has taken office at a particularly important time for her people, at a time when her country is struggling with race relations, restrictions on the use of the Maori language, and the rights of Indigenous peoples. Let's wish the new Queen of New Zealand every success in her noble goal of serving her people. What do you think of the world's youngest queen? Be sure to share your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe to our channel and like the video if you enjoyed it. See you soon.